Hello everyone, and thanks for clicking on the video link. Welcome to the content preview of tomorrow's or today's development group conversation. My name is Tim Salman. I'm Director of Engineering of the Dev section. I have the honor today to jump in for Christopher, who is our VP of Engineering for development, and I'm happy to lead the group conversation today. Let's jump right into our content. Here you see our team of directors and senior managers that is currently reporting to Christopher, and of course also Stan, our engineering fellow, who is also reporting directly to Christopher. What is the development department doing? Most probably you already know it. We are trying to build GitLab with a world-class development team of software engineers and managers, and try to build a world-class application with a world-class team so that is reliable, that is stable, and that is pushing forward really on implementing features and more features, but at the same time also having a secure application, having a reliable application, dealing with all the topics around reliability. One big topic is also the open source community contributions and helping them guide through our process and getting them into the product. And especially one of our main focus areas over the last months was also improving performance, especially helping also the user experience of GitLab, the product. What was on the top of the mind of Christopher over the last 6 weeks, especially finishing Q2, which was the most recent topic. We just closed the Q2, of course also rated all the OKRs, which we will take a look at later. We have defined the OKRs for Q3, which already started with August 1st. As we are, as a reminder, as this is sometimes confusing, we have our quarter starting with February. So this is why we have Q3 starting right now. Great focus points: Kubernetes, efficiency, dog fooding, really bringing a lot of features into the teams that we have already and closing the gaps in those features. Performance, really carrying over from the work that we started in Q2. And as always, of course, we're trying forward to push our MR rate and foster really a great team, a great environment where all the engineers have an environment where they can be as productive as possible. We are experimenting with a new format for the retrospective. We have some ongoing topics around the Atlassian integration, which is something we are constantly focused to see how we are doing there, so that we are basically catching up with the needs in a very short time frame from product and get those into the product cycles. And we were already able in the last release cycle to push out a couple of really great stuff in that area. A big topic was also the DIP training that we were looking into from LinkedIn, and a lot of managers already have taken it. Currently, a lot are still finishing it and bringing that also really to all EMs, and that was a really great initiative that also helped a lot of people to learn. It's a really intensive training. It takes around 5 to 6 hours and brings a lot of content to it. We are focusing to have more of the performance indicators in the handbook, and also one of the big topics was always the data consistency between Team YAML and different data sources. So we are trying to leverage now Bamboo, which is awesome, which can really stand in as a single source of truth. There is a 9 boxing system and retrospective going on for fall and winter that is currently prepared for really rolling it out to the whole company. You can read more there. really great book that I also just started, The Software Engineering at Google, which just came out a couple of months ago. Christopher mentioned a couple of chapters here that he liked. We are still doing hiring also now in development. The first offer is going out pretty soon. And Christopher took part in a podcast, which just was released just, I think, 2 weeks ago. So take a look at that and get some insights from Christopher and also another CEO from another company. What happened around our KPIs? Headcount was, of course, quite stable. We are currently looking still to have one really critical position that we want to fill. So please, if you have any sources, anyone in your direct community or in your past experiences, please refer him or her to us as we are looking for a backend engineer with C# experience. We are looking for 4 positions for backfills at the moment, so they are also being sourced and looking for referrals at the moment. And one more thing that is also always great to see is as we are pushing forward the organization is we have currently 2 interim managers who are working toward the promotion hopefully soon and are already doing a great job. One of our key focus points, and there I have the really great stuff to report, is the MR rate. We had June finishing with 12.1. That was already part and what the data was coming in from the June reporting last time at the group conversation. But the big news is that we set a new record with 14.4 around product MRs that have been merged per engineer, which is, as you can see in the graph, is really a record high there, and which is great to see, as a lot of initiatives around iteration are really grasping in the team, and especially in a month that is all normally quite heavy with holidays and PTOs, etc. We are currently looking at August, which is started quite average. We would land currently the May numbers, and also August is very intensive on PTO, of course, and also the Family Friends Day is coming up this Friday. So this means that we are having less working days. We have continued focus on the whole cycle, which is really working on the quad planning with the counterparts together on really having the full iteration cycle as early as possible, because this is really key, so that we are not trying to split up topics at a later point, but rather start really as early in the process as possible, and can also spread out a lot of work, and have already prepared we have a couple of big initiatives around development, starting from performance work, starting around RSpec stuff that we want to do in the next quarter, where we really prepare already in advance the really small working items that can be picked up whenever someone has time and can push something forward. So that is also a big topic. There is a target of 10 for the narrow MR rate, and which is a new setup, and we were already quite close in July. Let's see how we are going to land in August on that part. The review to merge was the first time below our target of our target with 4.21, and that is also great to see, as this really means that even within a time where a lot of people are out on maintainer side, but also on engineering side, that we have really the stable time to merge, which means that we have increased the maintainers, that we have our processes are basically improving, but of course we are keeping pushing on that. so that we are able to reduce it even more. As said, maintainers, we made really good progress. The ratios are below target, which is a good thing. We added 1 backend, 2 frontend, and 1 database since the last group conversation. A reminder to all EMs, keep pushing on the trainees, as we have really moved a couple of people over to maintainer. We are net negative currently on that side, and to keep the pipeline going, we definitely need some more trainees. And a really nice thing, which is coming along, which was an experiment from Lucas Eipert, is the GitLab review workload dashboard, which gives you a really nice visualization on which maintainers have currently capacity to review something in the different technology areas. And we are currently looking into moving exactly this experiment as fast as possible into the product, which I think is will be a great addition to the whole pipeline and workflow tools that we have in GitLab. Idle MRs is also something that was recently getting more focus, and we see some progress there. The teams are looking at those idle MRs and are trying to push this through the pipeline, that we are really reducing those numbers. And as you can see, there was some progress made, and the total number is still going down at the moment. Performance. This is my current focus point personally. So this is something I was very focused in Q2, and I would love to tell you a little bit more if you have questions tomorrow in the group conversation. But quite easily, there is the link also to the Epic. We are trying to really try to make as many improvements as possible from all sides. This really means that we are trying to tackle legacy big JavaScript sizes that we are loading, which is definitely to some extent priority number 1. Currently priority number 1 to get some really low-hanging fruits out is really reducing our CSS size. And we have something that is currently being tested on production. And as you can see on the right, in the charts, we have made some quite nice impact on the loading times, especially in the first loading time. With this experiment, it's not activated yet in production fully. It's hidden behind a query string and or a cookie. And we are trying to find out if we have flickering content, are trying to polish it a little bit, but we will most probably release it even this week. We will see if we can get it done before the Family and Friends Day. But this will give us quite some impact. As you can see, we were able to improve by 44% on that specific file repository view on the first visual change, as we are sending inline CSS for all the critical parts like the menu, so that we render as fast as possible the menu, and everything in the content can then render afterwards, but not that we have like a blank screen for such a long time. And this really helps us on the performance numbers. On top of that, we are trying a lot of big initiatives that we are spreading out in all the areas of development. This starts from icon replacement, closely together with UX. We are doing page-specific CSS. We are having a clear target for Q3 together with UX to migrate as many Hammer components to Pajama, so that we can drop the Bootstrap stuff, which will also give us, on one hand, better consistency, but on the other hand, also a performance boost, as we can remove 20 to 30% of our JavaScript bundle that we are currently loading, and which will enable us in the next step to remove at some point also jQuery, hopefully from the main bundle, so that we are only loading it on some specific pages. But this would also give us a big boost, as this is still one of the biggest libraries that we are currently loading on each page load. And I think that the memory team is currently working on is also a long time favorite of mine, is dynamic image resizing, which we hopefully get soon also in production, so that we can really render avatars in exactly the size that they are displayed, and at a later point also hopefully can catch up on content images. We have also the backend looking into stuff. So this is, as said, we are really trying to improved from all sides, and which is also a big, great initiative that we are seeing for next the quarter, is a combined OKR with product, where we're really trying to focus on the 5 top used routes and trying to improve those on specific timings, like which is the worst part for an issue, what is the worst timing for an MR, and trying to improve that specifically and try to get us as fast as GitHub with all the performance timings. Short update on the working group plans. We have currently real time. We have Action Cable configured. It is enabled by default, and it's running on dev.gitlab.org. You can even try it out. And currently, we are focused on getting this also on .com through Kubernetes, and then this is basically opening a door to do more and more real-time features. But it's already great to see. As soon as you have seen it once, you don't want to go back to polling, loading issue pages that basically don't update in real time the different fields. The Engineering Career Metrics Working Group has also made quite good progress. They are currently working on consolidating the different job families so that they are not getting too big and getting that to the ground. The GitLab UI Working Group was closed, and all the work is moved over to the foundation team. And we have, as said last time, the minorities in tech also making good progress. I have only heard really good feedback around the work that's being done there. We have 2 new working groups since the last group conversation. One is around multi-large setups, and the other one is really dogfooding, which is also one of our OKR targets in the next quarter, which is really pushing the planned features with the planned team so that they tackle and use, most probably iteration is one of our main targets there, that they really take a feature, use it in their daily work, and basically polish out, figure out what is needed to close the gaps, that this is becoming a really fantastic feature. As said, Q OKRs were just finished and ranked. As you can see here, we have exceeded, especially the MR rate from 11 to 13. July was really the largest month yet. Gitaly and with Prefect also reached their main goals. Geo has also reached almost 70% of the target. We have really worked a lot on improving, especially the merge request experience. We had, I think, 6 MRs that were targeted, or 6 issues, and have done 5 of them. We did a lot of performance work. So far, we have some improvements, and they are basically an improvement by 41%, which is also nice to see. And on top of that, we had especially the career engineering matrix and a couple of training pages that needed to be updated that were also done to some good numbers. Q3, really exciting. I see a lot around performance, and dogfooding is really great to see, so that teams are really taking the stuff and using that on a daily basis, as this is something that is a huge benefit over other teams, is really that we are using our stuff on a daily basis and can leverage that so that we can really figure out what's missing to make it from a really good feature to a fantastic feature. And the other part is, yeah, we are targeting to have really a fantastic application that is not only working great, but is also fast, and have a continued focus on that by the different initiatives. And as always, we are trying to keep going with our improvements on throughput. So this really means that the development member rate, so really based on the different members, is also going up to certain targets. And as we have also, of course, as a whole company, the target to improve our infrastructure costs, and running stuff simply more efficient. We also have a couple of key results there. Other highlights, we are trying to improve the on-call with an experiment which is called First Responder. We have a couple of tweakings around maintainer approval if we are running into an edge case. The search team was highlighted in the customer advisory report, which is also great to see. Commit, we spent a podcast, and on the improvement side, which is also great to see, and shout out to John Kay, who has basically in his last week has done a great addition to our product, which simply dropped the timings from 500 milliseconds to under 100 milliseconds, which is always great to see. So, and yeah, we are trying out a new summary retrospective format. Questions. That's the part where I'm looking forward to hear your questions tomorrow or today if you're watching this video right before the group conversation. Really looking forward to see you all. See you then, and thanks for listening.